Okay, everyone just stay where they are. I'm going to check if the coast is clear.
Is it clear?
No.
How many?
Lots.
The way we eat has changed more in the last 50 years than in the previous 10,000. The modern supermarket has on average 47,000 products.
The industry doesn't want you to know the truth about what you're eating, because if you knew, you might not want to eat it. We've never had food companies this powerful in our history.
Everything we've done in modern agriculture is to grow it faster, fatter, bigger, cheaper.
If you could grow a chicken in 49 days, why would you want one you got to grow in 3 months?
When you go through the supermarket, there is an illusion of diversity. So much of our industrial food turns out to be rearrangements of corn.
Sometimes you look at a vegetable and say, okay, well, we can get 2 hamburgers for the same price.
They have managed to make it against the law to criticize their products.
There is an effort to make it illegal to publish a photo of any industrial food operation.
I find it incredible that the FDA wants to allow the sale of meat from cloned animals without any labeling.
Peanut butter contaminated with salmonella.
E. coli has been found in spinach, apple juice.
Smells like money to me.
A fast food nightmare may be getting worse. A 2-year-old child died today in Seattle, and the killer, tainted meat from Jack in the Box hamburgers.
A nationwide recall today for more than 140 tons of ground beef.
500,000 pounds of ground beef. Today, nationwide recalls of ConAgra ground beef.
E. coli isn't just in ground beef now. It's been found in spinach, apple juice, and this is really because the runoff from our factory farms.
90 confirmed cases of E. coli poisoning. Central to it all, raw bagged spinach.
This is the 20th E. coli outbreak with leafy greens in just the last decade.
Now includes 22 million pounds.
Enough meat to make a fast food hamburger for every adult in America is being recalled.
In the 1970s, there were literally thousands of slaughterhouses in the United States. And today we have 13 slaughterhouses that process the majority of beef that is sold in the United States. The hamburger of today, it has pieces of thousands of different cattle ground up in that one hamburger patty.
A brain ravaged by mad cow disease will have certain elements of the zombie brain. They have myoclonic jerks. They will eventually become ataxic, unable to walk so well. They'll also become increasingly confused, potentially delirious. When we start thinking about the various potential contagions that could lead to a zombie disease, prions has got to be near the top of the list.
Prions ignore the rules of normal biological reproduction. They recruit rather than reproduce, targeting normal proteins and converting them into replicates of themselves. These in turn attack and convert more, building ever-increasing numbers that kill cells in the brain.
We can be infected by prions, and they produce zombie-like symptoms in their victims. Could these deadly brain-chewing prions unleash a zombie plague? Today, most of us don't expect corpses to rise from the grave. But at the center of one of the world's great religions lies that very idea. But is the resurrection a story of the undead?
The resurrection of Christ is symbolic of coming back from the dead in a positive way. You can make an argument that he's the anti-zombie. He is coming back from the dead to bring life. The whole point of Christianity is to, yes, raise the dead, but also to give eternal life, whereas a zombie is there to chomp on one's friends, family, and neighbors.
The zombie is a perfect paradigm of what life in hell would be like.
History has shown us the apocalyptic effects of plague before. In the 14th century, a bacteria spread from Asia to Europe, killing off 1/3 of its population in less than 2 years. They called it the Black Death. known later as the bubonic plague.
Originally, the estimations in Europe were 25 to 35% of the population of Europe. More recent literature goes up to 40, 45, 50%. The demographic mortality was incredible.
To people living through it, the Black Death felt like an apocalypse.
If we define an apocalypse as a horrible event, something that takes down society, that the basic components of social infrastructure, law, order, government, are gone. Those who survived it essentially lived through an apocalyptic scenario.
Then, in 1918, an even more deadly plague struck. This time it spread across the globe, killing nearly 50 million people in less than 3 years. It was called the Spanish flu, the first known appearance of the dreaded H1N1 virus.
It killed more American soldiers in World War I than who died in the actual fighting.
The Spanish flu pandemic gives us a glimpse into what a zombie apocalypse would look like.
Rest assured, in their first response to zombies, governments will screw up. They will likely try to reassure the public, because what governments are afraid of most is social panic.
Even the U.S. government has turned its attention to zombies. In May of 2011, the Centers for Disease Control published an official memo on how to survive a zombie apocalypse. Scientists have begun using the model of a zombie plague as a way of studying pandemics. Their conclusions are not exactly comforting.
A group of biomathematicians at Carleton University in Canada, who normally study pandemics, created a very sophisticated linear programming model to see what would happen if, in fact, you had these kinds of zombies. And their conclusion was rather dire. They decided that unless the zombies were wiped out at a very early stage in their development, human civilization as we know it would be wiped out.
Is a zombie-like plague really possible? There's no doubt we have the technology. But will the technology save us or destroy us? In 1816, Mary Shelley wrote her own cautionary tale about the destructive potential of technology. She created the most famous zombie in history, the monster of Dr. Frankenstein. The book's subtitle was The Modern Prometheus.
The Prometheus myth is the original story of someone who goes too far, who steals the fire of the gods and is punished for it. Now, the zombie myth fits into that entirely. It's exactly our fear of creating something that's going to destroy us.
The moral of the Prometheus myth: meddle with dangerous technology, and it will destroy you.
Because of globalization, we as a society have become more dependent on same-day fresh delivery. What's going to happen when those trucks aren't rolling? What's going to happen when the ships stop sailing and when the planes stop flying? Then there are the real survivalists that really understand how to purify water, how to grow their own food, how to care for their kids when they come down with a disease, what plants to eat. Those are the people that would last much longer than the wannabe Rambos.
Let's build a community, get to know your neighbors. And if you already have a group of like-minded people, you're going to have a better chance of surviving.
What's going on?
Zombie apocalypse.
Zombie what?
5 minutes after you hit your head in the conference room, the zombies overran the earth. Everything you know and love is gone.
My parents?
Gone.
My girlfriend?
Gone.
What about the Doritos in the break room?
Woohoo! Zombie apocalypse, baby!
He's taking this really well.